Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we're looking at Superman issue 351. This is from the original DC series. This issue came out in September 1980 and was written by Gerry Conway, pencils by Curt Swan, inks by Frank Chiaramonte, Ben Oda letterer, Adrienne Roy colorist, and Julia Schwartz editor. So this is part 2 of a story where a scientific demonstration of something called the Genesis machine by a Professor Tolkien of Metropolis University has gone horribly wrong and made a building disappear, and Superman is being attacked by this weird energy creature. Well, we pick up with the energy creature attacking Superman, and everything he does seems to really be negated, and he's got an idea that there's something funny going on, because apparently 9 of his college classmates have been acting weird and they disappeared from a reunion. Well, now they seem to be converging as if drone-like on some location, and the professor's confessing that he in fact may have had a lot more to do with this than people thought. His Genesis machine is actually kind of a sham, and it's actually based around psychic energies, and what's happening is it's taking an object from one place and transmuting it into something else at another location. So it's not just teleporting it, it's turning things like a water fountain into a filing cabinet. So it's generally about the same amount of mass, but it's not actually creating anything like people thought it was. Well, the students show up at this demonstration and they grab the professor. Meanwhile, Superman is trying to outrun this energy creature thing, and he leads it to the Aurora Borealis because it seems to be made out of a similar type of energy. Well, then Superman has to locate the students who have kidnapped Professor Tolkien and try and stop them before this machine transmutes the entire planet. And he does that through some fairly creative means. There's a few obvious traps that he has to go through, the usual sort of thing for this era, where there's like kind of goofy traps. Overall, it was a pretty fun story, a little over the top, but it was kind of endearing. So I had fun reading it. If I was a little kid, I'd love it. The backup story, Mr. Mxyzptlk's Circus Caper, was written by Denny O'Neil, art by Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, lettering by Ben Oda, and coloring by Adrienne Roy. And in this case, Mr. Mxyzptlk decides to have some fun with a circus group, and Superman has to save the day, obviously. Now, Mxyzptlk has turned the tires of the circus folk into squares instead of circles, so Superman decides to try and play a fast one on Mxyzptlk by becoming all of the people that should be at the circus. So he's the ringmaster, then he quickly changes clothes to become a tightrope walker, and Mxyzptlk tries to throw him off at every turn. Well, one of the kids in the audience happens to have something that can trick Mxyzptlk back. Overall, it's an okay story. There's this theme of acceptance because there's these kids that are there. One of them doesn't speak very good English, and another kid's making fun of him. And of course, the non-English speaking kid is the one who saves the day. That's fine. It was an okay backup. It was very much like an after-school special, so it was pretty weak in the long run. It was just okay, but as a grown-up, it's weak because it's boring and predictable. But it wasn't bad. I would be overly harsh on it, but it would be unfair to the age demographic that book is actually targeted at, which is elementary and middle school kids. I think both stories work really well for that demographic, so I will recommend it on that front, or if you have a nostalgia for this era of Superman. It's not the greatest thing you'll ever read, but the main story was pretty fun, so I'm going to recommend it on that front. I found this one, my copy's pretty banged up. I found it in a dollar bin, and I think if you picked it up for less than the cover price of a new issue, it would be fine. So if you're looking for something that's either nostalgic or for a kid to read, this is a good choice, and it's a pretty interesting story, and it's got a lot of fun elements from the late Silver Age in it, so worth a read if you're a Superman fan or in the target demographic. That's gonna do it for this one. Thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future reviews. If you'd like to help the channel out in other ways, links are in the description to the various support methods, including the merchandise store, and as always, we hope to see you on the next one.